What's up, my beater bros? Maine-iac here with NFL Power Rankings. We're going to try to make this as quick as possible, just so the upload time isn't as long, because it bogs down the internet, so I hope you do understand. If you are new to this, I'll explain real quick how it works. The left is the biggest gainer, the right is the biggest loser. If their team didn't really move, and it's understandable why they should be where they are, I won't talk too much on them, so just so you know. The bottom four stayed the same this week. At 32, we have the 49ers. At 31, we have the Raiders. At 30, we have the Cardinals. And at 29, we have the Jets. All these teams are similar, except for the Cardinals. For the 49ers, Raiders, and Jets, tough losses for them. They were all relatively competitive in their games against superior opponents, which is a common theme, but sadly, again, they didn't come through, which is also a common theme for the postseason, which is for their season, I should say. And as for the Cardinals, they had a good win against the Packers, only their third win of the season, with the other two wins going against the 49ers, so quality of opponent isn't that high when you can say 2/3 of your wins come against the 49ers. Good win over the Packers, though, for the Cardinals at number 30. And it's going to be interesting to see how Josh Rosen keeps improving throughout the season. And then now for the movement. We got number 28. We have the Bills dropping 2 spots. Tough loss against the Dolphins. They had the game in their hands, and they couldn't do anything. Kelvin Benjamin, countless flags that just killed drives. It is absolutely insane when you're about to get going, and Benjamin just bends you over. Interesting note, though, is the defense played a lot better against the Dolphins than I thought they would. I'm not sure if it's a product against the Dolphins offense themselves or if it's just the Bengals or Bills defense improving, but they looked pretty solid. And then you have the Bengals dropping 6 spots at number 27 for the biggest loser of the week award, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. AJ Green should go on IR. He should be out for the year. Driscoll looks absolutely god awful. I underestimated the impact that putting in a guy with no experience would have. I thought he would perform at least okay, especially with Joe Mixon and Boyd on the offense, but he played like shit. The Bengals defense is shit. They don't play like shit, they are shit. They need a whole injection of new talent come the offseason, and I think for health reasons they should put AJ Green on IR. His season should be over. Get him ready for next year so you can have him at 100% guaranteed. And then the next two teams at 26 and 25 respectively, we have the Giants at 26 and the Jags at 25, both gaining 2 spots, leapfrogging said Bengals and said Bills. Now, similarities between these two teams for sure. They faced playoff quality opponents. Difference being the Giants faced a backup in Chase Daniels, but a very vaunted Bears defense, and the Jags faced Andrew Luck and the Colts offense. Now, both teams played admirably. The Jags held the Colts to absolutely 0 points, which is almost unheard of in the Andrew Luck era. But with the Giants, good win, had a 10-point lead, almost lost it, went to overtime, squeaked out the win. Still quality wins for both teams. It's not going to save their season, which is similar with each other, but it's going to get them momentum going in the right direction. And I love that the Jaguars' defense looks awakened, and I love that the Giants are getting Odell Beckham involved in the passing game as a passer, because that spiral looked pretty good on Odell's throw, man. Looked pretty damn good. And then you have the Lions and the Falcons, respectively, at 24 and 23. Lions being 24, Falcons being 23. Tough losses for both teams. Most likely ended their playoff chances, respectively. Are their playoff chances technically alive? Yes, they're technically alive, but let's be realistic here. They're not going to make it. They both got too many holes. But anyway, let's get going further. Not too much to talk about the Lions or the Falcons, except for, come on, man. Then you got the Packers at number 22, dropping 3 spots. Aaron Rodgers got his head coach fired. I don't mean that in a negative connotation, so I'm sorry if you do take it that way. I mean it as in, I think everything was growing stagnant, stale, in the Packers offense. Obviously, if you had to choose between the two, you're not going to get rid of one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So, obviously, head coach has to go. It's kind of if you say, oh, do I want a Lamborghini or do I want to eat, fine dining tonight? You're not going to, you're going to say, hey, I'd rather have a Lamborghini than go out to a 5-star restaurant, but you're not going to blame the car for that. I mean, overall, it's the organization's choice. It's not Aaron Rodgers' choice. I think, although they lost against the Cardinals, tough loss for them, they should have dropped more, but I think the spark of creativity that gets infused when you don't have such a stagnant person coaching the team could infuse some eagerness into this offense. I know that might not be the right word for it, but I feel like it fits. This offense needs to wake up, and having someone new obviously gives them the perfect opportunity to do that. And the Browns at number 21 dropping one spot. Sadly, the Browns looked like little kids against the Texans. Pick sixes, fumble recoveries, whatever happened, the Texans took complete control of the Browns. Baker Mayfield, 4 turnovers. And considering the 4 turnovers, though, the Browns kept it relatively close considering the 4 turnovers. I say that specifically because if let's say the Browns had 0 turnovers, I would consider that a blowout. But under circumstances, they kept it as close as they realistically could. And they were down so late that Chubb never really got involved, which is one of their key parts on offense. Jarvis Landry had a solid game, which is good. And the Dolphins at number 20 moving up 2 spots with a good win over the Bills. Tannehill looked okay, made some awful mistakes. But one thing that has me excited about the Dolphins is Xavier Howard, or I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, in that Miami secondary and defense overall looks to be improving, which is really important. But, again, this is against the Bills offense, which is one of the worst in the league, so having a great performance doesn't necessarily dictate your defense is improved, but it could give them motivation. It could give them, what's the word I'm thinking of? It could give them momentum going into the upcoming games. Then you have the Bucks at number 19, gaining 6 spots, the biggest gainers of the week. Now, this pick could be seen as controversial, but if you know me, if you've seen my power rankings from previous weeks, you would know one of 2 things. I freaking love consistency, and I hold that in high regard when I'm doing power rankings, because if you're a highly inconsistent team, no matter how good you are, when you are on, I cannot label you as one of the best, because consistency is very important when it comes to the NFL. Second, holy shit, the Bucks defense actually stepped up. They didn't have Deshaun Jackson, but they managed to win by that much in that way. It was incredible. Adam Humphries getting involved, Brait getting involved early. Barber had a decent game on the ground. It was a good win for the Bucks. They put themselves in prime position to maybe not necessarily sneak into the wild card. I mean, they're still technically alive, but they put themselves in prime position to play upset for whoever's trying to make it into the season and who faces them later on. Now, at number 18, we have the Redskins with an awful loss to the Eagles. Mark Sanchez was in at quarterback. I'm not sure what happened to Colt McCoy, so I do apologize for that. It is my duty to get the information out to you guys. But I haven't seen anything on Colt McCoy. I didn't watch the game at the point where Colt McCoy possibly got hurt, so I'm not sure how severe it is. Hopefully he comes back early, because you do not want Mark Sanchez leading your team. With all the injuries and stuff, I wanted to drop the Redskins a little bit lower, but they started so good this year that it's hard to drop them below teams like the Bucks and the Dolphins, who have been struggling as of late, who are just now starting to rebound. You have the Colts at number 17 dropping 3 spots after a tough loss to the Jaguars. They didn't score a point. There's not much else to say. If you get shut out, something's wrong in your offense. Whether it be injuries, Mac didn't have a good game, Luck didn't have a good game, nobody on that team had a good game. But it should be also noted their defense had a solid game holding the Jaguars offense to 6 points. But it doesn't matter if you hold them to 6 points if you can't score more than 6. So, although they are a solid team, I believe at 6-6, 17 is about where they belong. Then we have the Titans and Eagles respectively gaining or staying even. At Titans at 16, Eagles at 15. Solid wins over lackluster teams, the Jaguars and Redskins, respectively. This could all be about momentum. Each of these two teams, the Eagles and Titans, are in similar situations. They are on the outside looking in when it comes to the playoff scenario, or at least I believe realistically that's what they are. They need to reel off some clutch wins coming down the stretch to lock up a spot, which I think they're both very capable of. Granted, how the teams got here are different, but I think as long as each of these units perform as they did, or build on what they did Sunday and Monday, respectively, it should come together where they have a good shot at going into the playoffs. They just have to, they just need some help, but it's very capable. 16 and 15th, considering their records, is not anything to be ashamed of. And then you have the Broncos at number 14, gaining 3 spots, because holy shit, Philip Lindsay, I apologize for that as well. He should be the MVP of the league at this rate, and I'm saying that, of course, it's more of a rhetorical statement. He's obviously not going to win MVP, but what he's doing for the Broncos offense to keep it fresh, to keep it alive, to give them those yards when they need it, when you can't necessarily guarantee them from the passing game, is absolutely incredible. Broncos defense stepped up as well, but Philip Lindsay won them that game. Being an undrafted rookie running back, I think honestly right now he should win Rookie of the Year on offense. Or at least if for the AFC. If it's split, Philip Lindsay all the way. If it's not, I'd still probably put Philip Lindsay all the way. Because although what Saquon's doing is special, he was the second overall pick. It was expected of him. And yes, I do sometimes weigh expectations versus what happens. Because when you have, let's say you have a 7th round pick and a 1st round pick, both get maybe 100 yards their rookie season and they don't do anything the rest of the way, you're going to call the 1st round pick a bust. You're not going to call the 7th round pick a bust. So when an undrafted rookie does things like Saquon can do for a team that he didn't get drafted by, he signed as a free agent, that's incredible. Philip Lindsay, he's a monster. It's going to be interesting to see what the Broncos do with their 3 running back situation coming into the offseason. That's another note for the Broncos. Do they trade one of the pieces to acquire more talent elsewhere? Who knows? Then you have the Panthers at number 13, dropping 2 spots. Cam Newton, a career high 4 interceptions. I don't think that will happen again. Congrats to the Bucs for getting 4 interceptions on Cam Newton. Christian McCaffrey, even though the Panthers struggled, he still had a good game, so that is a bright spot for this Panthers offense. They still are one of the best teams in the league, but like I keep saying every week, consistency is key, and they have not really been consistent over the last month and a half or so. And then you have the Vikings at number 3, dropping 3 spots. One of the saddest stories in the league, I guess, would be the decline of the Vikings compared to last year. Vikings are still a relatively good team, but their run game looks like doo-doo butts. Passing game wasn't much there for most of the game against the Patriots. Their defense was kind of lackluster, and I'm not gonna make an excuse, but they did suffer some injuries, and that does happen from week to week. And almost every team goes through it. So hopefully the Vikings get back healthy. They're an entertaining team to watch, so to get them back into the playoffs would be good for the NFL. And then you have the team they're facing this upcoming week at number 11, the Seahawks, gaining 1 spot. I told, or at least I believe I said at the beginning of the year, that if the Seahawks kept winning, if the Seahawks kept performing like they could, then the Seahawks would keep moving up. And believe it or not, the Seahawks are up. They're up to 11th. They had an incredible win this week against the 49ers. They're facing a tough team against the Vikings. If they beat the Vikings, they could very well climb into the top 10. They look poised to make a playoff push, which is fun. Russell Wilson possibly could miss his 2nd playoffs in a row. But the way it's looking now for the Seahawks, there's positivity to be had. And plus the defense is stepping up, which is really good for such a young defense. Then you have the Cowboys creaking into the top 10. And like I said as well, after last week with Amari Cooper, this Cowboys team's special. Should they have gained more? Possibly. Now, they did beat the Saints. They beat Drew Brees on Thursday Night Football, held them to 10 points. Now they get a long week coming into the final stretch. They get a long week late in the season, which is always handy. Dak Prescott's playing better. Ezekiel Elliott's playing better. That defense is playing lights out, which is incredible. A couple more games of this being put through consistently every week, and this Cowboys team could possibly crack the top 8, top 6. It would be interesting to see. It would take a little bit of stumbling from the other top teams, but this Cowboys team is poised to make a run at the Super Bowl, and I mean that realistically. They have all the elements of what it takes to win a Super Bowl. They have a legit number 1 wide receiver. They have a star running back. They have good lines, and they have a good defense. And then the Bears at number 9, dropping a spot, do not have all of that at all. They don't necessarily have a number 1 wide receiver. They do have good receivers, for sure, they do. But with Chase Daniels at quarterback, you need star wide receivers to make him look good. They don't have that, and it hurts. The Bears defense is holding them up. But you can hold up a dead fish all you want. It's still going to be a dead fish. They need to figure out their running back situation before long. Do you primarily use Tariq Cohen or do you use Jordan Howard? Because using Jordan Howard so little, honestly, through some of these games, I think has stunted his development from what he did last year as a rookie to this year. And it's a shame. It reminds me of Jeremy Langford. Langford had a great season for the Bears, but then they just stunted his development, and he is out of the league after a couple years. It's incredible. They need Trubisky back. This Bears team has to have Trubisky back if they want to win. But to me, they're still top 10, so there's that. And then you have the Ravens at number 8, moving up 2 spots, leapfrogging the said Vikings and said Bears. Lamar Jackson getting his 3rd straight win as a starting quarterback. Quarterback controversy, there says to be none by Harbaugh. But, you know, when you have 3 winning quarterbacks, or as he said, winning quarterbacks, in RG3 as a 3rd stringer, Lamar Jackson as a backup, and Joe Flacco as a starter, and I'm presuming that Joe Flacco will be starting again when he's healthy. It's a good sign for your organization, because if you do run into an injury like they did with Joe Flacco, you're okay. We see it with the Bears when Mitch Trubisky went down. We see it with the Bengals when Andy Dalton went down. Having a good, capable backup is extremely important. That is a note to them. Alex Collins, I believe, didn't play Sunday, but the Ravens still managed to play a good game. The defense really stepped up. This Ravens defense is really good. It's possibly one of the best defenses in the league. Granted, I'll state this right now. I'm not the best judge of defense, so I do apologize if I underestimate or overestimate a defense. To me, I'm more of an offensive-minded fan, and that doesn't mean I want to see a lot of points put up. I don't. I like seeing good defense, but I don't know exactly what makes the best kind of defense. You know what I mean? At number 7, we actually have 7, 6, 5, and 4 staying the same this week. At number 7, we have the Steelers with a tough loss over the Chargers. Played a solid game overall. Flags just killed them. You could also blame it on the no call on the false start when the Chargers scored a touchdown. But in retrospect, hindsight's 20/20, and with how bad your defense played on that possession, you don't know if the Chargers would have went down and scored a touchdown anyway. So there's always that. But when you have the kicker miss a field goal and you false start on defense on the field goal attempt when he missed it, you kind of lost the game. I think it's more of they lost the game than the Chargers won the game. They gave the Chargers too many chances. Texans at number 6 with a good win over said Browns earlier. Good win from Deshaun Watson. Hopkins and Demaryius Thomas are looking like a legit 1-2 combo. And I know that Demaryius Thomas is a great wide receiver. He was with the Broncos for a few years, or many years. I just don't want to say many and have it be too long. Hopkins is possibly the best wide receiver in the league. He's definitely in that category as best wide receivers in the league. But what I mean by that is I didn't think their chemistry together would click so well so soon. I think it helps having Deshaun Watson, one of the most capable young quarterbacks in the league, Lamar Miller is also providing a good boost in the run game, and that defense is absolutely insane. Go, Texans, go. Could be a Super Bowl contender in the AFC. And yeah, the Chargers at number 5. Defense looked solid considering they were going up against the Steelers offense. Their run defense was notable. And they didn't have Melvin Gordon, but the Chargers run game still performed quite admirably. I believe his name was Justin Jackson, rookie for the Chargers, had a really, really good game. They came back, they won it. They were helped by some flags and some no calls, but that doesn't stop the fact that this Chargers team is one of the most dangerous, one of the most consistent in the league. They are capable, when Melvin Gordon's healthy, they are capable of beating you in the air, on the ground, defensively, special teams, punt return for a touchdown. This team can beat you anyway. And that's what champions do. They find different ways to beat you, and they can take anything away. They can beat you down, no matter what they have to do. And then you have the Patriots at number 4, staying even with a good win over the Vikings. Tom Brady played okay. He did have an ill-advised throw for absolutely no reason when the game was pretty much well in hand for an interception, so there was that. The Patriots defense is really stepping up. I believe I saw somewhere that Pro Football Focus has Stephon Gilmore as one of the top-ranked quarterbacks, and they have Trey Flowers as one of the best-ranked edge rushers or something like that. And it's incredible that this team, or the defense, is... What irritates me most, and I'm saying this as a Patriots fan, is the defense is... A guy will catch the ball 5 yards short of the first down, and the defender will be, let's say, 2 yards past the first down. And instead of going to the dude who has the ball and tackling him before he gets to the first down marker, the defender will wait for the offensive player to get to him past the first down marker. That happens way more often than it should. Consistency, though, is key for the Patriots here. The defense has been playing solid as of late. Haven't allowed a 300-yard passer for, I believe, 5 games or something like that, and haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher for almost the same. The numbers, specific numbers, I probably erred on. I apologize. But Tom Brady playing solid, Sonny Michel playing solid, James White playing solid, Edelman, Gronk, Gordon, all playing solid football. Consistency is key when you have one of the best coaches in the league, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, one of the best tight ends in the league. You're in good position, but I still don't think they're the best team in the AFC. Then you have the Saints at number 3, dropping 2 spots off the perch with a tough loss to the Cowboys. And they had home field advantage wrapped up if they just kept winning their games, but sadly they fell through, and the Cowboys upset the hell out of them on Thursday Night Football. I knew this week was going to be crazy once the Cowboys won. Drew Brees couldn't do anything. Kamara really couldn't do anything. Ingram couldn't do anything. Thomas couldn't do anything. That whole team was stifled. Hopefully they bounce back. So what's happening to them could be a huge concern. If they stumble again this week, and what the Cowboys did to them actually shows how you can beat the Saints, then the Saints could be on a tumble. I don't think that's going to happen, but they very well could be. And then as the top 2 teams who benefit from the Saints losing, you have the Chiefs at number 2, the top team in the AFC. No Kareem Hunt after that video incident of an altercation in February. One thing, probably the only thing I will say about the Kareem Hunt incident is, if you are sorry for what you did, you would not have lied about it when it happened to your team. You did not get fired because you kicked a woman, necessarily. You did not get fired because you got into an altercation with a woman, necessarily. I mean, for God's sakes, Tyreek Hill is on your goddamn team, and he has a domestic violence or domestic assault, whatever, against him as well. It is the fact that you fucking lied, Kareem Hunt. It is the fact that the team that trusted you, the team that drafted you, the team that made you a star, asked you what happened. You lied to their face. They never saw the video. The NFL never saw the video. The police never fucking watched the video. So you could have took this opportunity to get ahead of it. You could have took this opportunity to learn from it, to tell the truth, to get help from your team, to seek everything necessary. Yes, you would have gotten suspended earlier in the year. Yes, you probably would have been on the exempt list. But the team would have respected you for it. You lost the respect of everybody when you lied. Should you get another chance in the NFL? Personally, if it was me, no. But the Chiefs are fine without you. You know why? Spencer Ware, man. Spencer Ware having a great goddamn season. They signed Sharkandrick West to replace Spencer Ware after Spencer Ware replaced Kareem Hunt. Sharkhandrick does have experience in the Chiefs system, so I think they'll be perfectly fine. Patrick Mahomes with another 4 touchdowns. Travis Kelce had an amazing game, absolutely dominant tight end. Defense still nowhere to be found for the Chiefs. They have talent all over the board on defense. I think the thing they struggle with is there's always a hole on the defense, I should say, so teams often exploit the hole no matter how well the others play. When Eric Berry comes back 100%, that hole could be filled, but it could be more than just missing him. Then you have the Rams at number 1, the best team in the league. Goff, Gurley, Woods, everybody on that offense, including Cooks and such, are playing so well. And it's not just that they're playing so well together. That is key. They're playing together. And underrated MVP candidate here, Aaron Donald, should get a legitimate shot at MVP because what he is doing for that defense, even if that offense ever struggled, Aaron Donald, with the pressure he puts, with how he helps that defense perform, if he takes a double team with that defensive line, he opens it up. He opens up opportunities for everyone else. He might not have gaudy stats. Granted, he has gaudy stats, but he would have even gaudier stats if it wasn't just for him benefiting everybody else on that team. With what he does as a pass rusher benefits the secondary. With what he does as a pass rusher benefits the run defense. What he does as a pass rusher benefits the edge rushers and everything else. What he does as a defensive unit captain benefits that offense. If you can be like, okay, we might not score in this possession, but our defense is going to step up and we're going to get the ball back. So much happens. Aaron Donald, possible MVP candidate. I wouldn't pick him to be MVP, but he would be my top 3. Anyway, guys, you have a good week. Hope you are interested in some exciting divisional football coming up in the next few weeks. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.